Okay, I'm going to do a video here today of Mark Calabrese. I'm at the Calabrese house here with his mother, Mrs. Calabrese. How you doing, Mrs. Calabrese?
Pretty good.
How you doing, Mark?
Hi, very good, thank you.
Alright, the reason why I'm making this video here today is I'm doing a testimonial here for Mark about a successful eBay Classic car sale that we sold Mark's car on auction here today. And it took exactly 7 days to sell the car by auction, and it was a 1979 MGB Roadster. And the car was sold to the highest bidder. It was about $6,000 exactly. And the buyer, Mark, is from New Jersey, right? And the buyer was from North Carolina, Concord, North Carolina to be exact. And because of the shipping and the waiting for the buyer inspection and waiting for the cashier's check to clear, it took about 7 days. It took about almost 3 weeks to conclude the whole sale, but the sale was done in 7 days. The car was actually sold in 7 days. So, Mark, I just want to ask you a few questions, in your own words. All right, please explain to the viewers here of this video what you thought of using eBay to sell your car.
Well, at first I was in doubt about using eBay because I'm not too internet friendly, and I never did this before. And anytime I always have ever had a car, I don't have much patience for selling cars. And when I found Frank, I was a little apprehensive about using him for this sale. But then I sat down, which it didn't cost me anything, to sit down with him and go over everything with him. And he explained everything in very fine detail, which I was really impressed. And I figured, what the heck, go with it, And as far as this eBay, I really was impressed. I mean, I couldn't believe the way the transactions were going through and how safe it really is in its own way, And I'll tell you the truth, it worked out really well so far. Everything went good, everything was perfect, and I would definitely use eBay again as far as that.
Well, let me ask you a few questions for the benefit of the buyers in the future here. What would you say is the biggest difference between eBay and advertising the car your own with the newspaper?
Well, in the newspaper, I had a friend of mine that he actually put it up on Craigslist, and it was up for a couple months, and I got phone calls from people that were like brokers really trying to sell the car for me and everything. It was becoming like a nuisance, people calling you that weren't really serious buyers and everything like that. And it took so long, and it was just really it was too time consuming, and it really wasn't working at all.
Did you get any serious buyers?
Not at all. And,
okay. How about the newspaper? Did you ever try the newspaper?
No, I never really tried the newspaper. No, I never did that.
Okay.
Years ago, I did things in the newspaper.
Well, that's what I was talking about.
Yes.
Years ago. What did you find with the newspaper?
The newspaper was just costly, costing me so much money every month, and nothing was really going through with that either, I wasn't getting any potential buyers. But then again, I didn't sell too many things,
Now, I know that during the process you were extremely nervous. At times you were wondering what was going to happen, why it was going to happen. Mrs. Calabrese, I'm sure you could testify to that.
Yeah, very nervous.
How was your son reacting at the time?
Very nervous kid. He gets nervous over everything.
Can you describe his behavior while we were while this was going on?
A lot of questions you have to answer. Like, he'll drive you crazy, but he's a good boy.
Great. Okay. And how did you find dealing with me? What was your dealings with me?
You had to put me in check a few times, you calmed me down a lot because I get worried. I was worried about this sale going through, someone being at such a distance to buy my car, and I was concerned about that, you know. And inspectors came and inspected the car. Everything was done professionally and really great. I really liked that, you know. It went well.
All right. Considering that you never used eBay before and you didn't know about how much, about how, the protection works on eBay, and, there's also a lot of scams on the internet that people hear in the news all the time. How was I able to make you feel comfortable with that?
Well, you made sure that every transaction was done promptly and everything was done to the exact. I'll tell you, you were very thorough.
Did I warn you on a lot of different things, like, when you deposit the check, wait until it clears,
right.
so on and so forth?
You told me everything in detail, word for word, and definitely that was it. I would have to use you again, I'll tell you the truth.
Now, I know that you, I could actually scare people a little bit because I tell them everything, I'm like overly cautious, I try to dot every I and cross every T. And I know that you're a nervous guy, so I know that, it was a combination made in heaven, probably.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Well, because, the way I see it is I don't really make the decisions, I like people to know what's going on, what's happening, and if you want to skip a beat or something or skip a procedure, I allow the people, my clients, to do that because that's, it's their decision. I'm just there to advise you, almost like an attorney would, And then, but at the end of the day, if you wanted to ship the car, I know at one point you wanted to ship the car before the check even cleared because the driver made a mistake and showed up early, and I advised you not to do that. Okay,
yes.
and that was a day where you, were very. Eager,
fit to be tied.
Fit to be tied and whatnot, So, how did I make you more comfortable?
No, I was really glad, Frank, that I listened to you when it came to that, I mean, I had a truck driver ringing my phone and telling me that he was right in the area and he was ready to pick the car up. And you advised me that the check wasn't cleared yet and we couldn't release the car. Everything was done.
Did that turn out to be the right decision? And
absolutely, that was. Yes.
Afterwards, we waited a little extra time, and we did it the right way, and now you can sleep a little bit more at night.
Yes.
Not worrying that the car is going to be delivered to somebody, and they're gonna, check's gonna bounce or something like that. And then you got a whole nother nightmare that you got to deal with. Mm-hmm. That was just like one of many, many things that we went over during the whole process. How about the fees, Mark? My fees. Did I explain all the fees to
everything.
you?
You explained every fee to me. You told me how much it was going to cost on eBay. The auction actually went through in one auction in 7 days, and you told me how much the fee was going to be and everything else. And I tried to give you more, Frank, and you won't take any more from me. And but everything, you were to the last dollar. It was to the T. Everything was to the T.
You got a good report on everything, and everything was, in light item form of all your expenses and everything, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Initially, when we sat down to appraise the value of your car, I know you remember us sitting down. We went through about 7 different vehicles that were exactly the same as yours, and we ended up noticing quite a few of those vehicles were priced around $3,000. Is that correct?
Yes, and you sold the car for $3,000 above what they were selling for those cars.
Okay, so normally what we do is we take this, 7 cars exactly the same, and do like a bell curve and throw out the 2 highest prices, 2 lowest, and come up with a good way to sell the car, good value for the car. And as it turned out, you ended up getting like $3,000 more for the car than the bell curve. Do you think you could have got that money on your own, like locally?
Absolutely not, no.
And I think part of this reason is that it's harder to get the money locally is because there's less buyers.
Yes.
When you're on eBay, as you know, within the first week, less than the first week, we had over 600 people that viewed the car.
Yes.
on eBay.
Did.
And you know, locally you just don't get that many people looking for a classic car.
No.
You know, so you know the eBay is the worldwide web. A classic car, 20 years and older, like yours, the stats are that one is sold. I think one every 20 minutes, as a matter of fact, is sold on eBay. So it's definitely the way to go with classic cars. If you had another car to sell in the future, or knew of anybody in your family or a family member or friend or anything like that, would you recommend me to sell that car for you?
Absolutely, yes.
And why would you recommend me?
Well, because you made everything go through. It went through smooth. Everything was good. It took a little bit of extra time because I had, you know, I made a few mistakes on my own, you know, but it went through good. I would absolutely recommend you, Frank. And if I have another car in the future, I would definitely use you again. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate the video, Mrs. Calabrese. Thank you for your participation. Do you have anything that you'd like to say in the end?
No, I'm happy now.
Are you still alive after this whole thing with your son?
Yeah, we're still alive.
Did he put you through hell or what?
A little bit.
Well, I guess that's only because when you don't know something, you know much about something, you're in the dark, and you know, and when you know
like
a little bit
spring.
more, you know, about something, you're
Get more
less likely
comfortable.
to be afraid of it, you know,
That's
when
right.
you know what's going on.
That's right.
All right, listen, thanks
you.
for your time. I appreciate the video, and I'm happy to do anything else that I
Thank
can
you.
for anybody that
We
you know or
appreciate it.
yourself, okay?
Thank you,
Thank you
Frank.
very much. Have a great day. Bye.